Right now at 5, our cameras got a look at the damage of the Roaring Lion fire. Plus, more evacuation orders lifted today as residents return home. And thunderstorms in your forecast. Severe Weather Alert Team meteorologist Matt Gray has where they're headed.
Live in high definition, this is NBC Montana News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Montana McLaughlin. Taylor Winkle has the night off. Our cameras went behind the scenes of the Roaring Lion fire today, where some homes are now nothing more than a chimney. But first, let's get to Severe Weather Alert Team meteorologist Matt Gray. He's tracking developing thunderstorms. Matt.
Yeah, and right here at the top of the hour, a new severe thunderstorm warning for Broadwater County. We've already seen ping-pong-sized hail in parts of Broadwater County earlier today from another severe storm. This looks like it's going to be round 2 for areas north of Townsend and along Canyon Ferry Lake. And that is that warning. It goes until 5:45 p.m. We're looking at quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds possible there. It's moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour, so there's kind of a timeline of when we expect the storm to be, the heart of the storm to be at certain points. Right about 45 minutes from now, expected to be around Canyon Ferry Lake. And once again, 1-inch hail possible with this storm now. A lot of that happening south of Boulder in the hail core of the storm, as well as we're going to be also looking at damaging winds. That's not the only storm we have to pay attention to as well. Heavy rain with storms across Beaverhead County and into the Salmon area, as well as around Glacier National Park, could cause some flooding concerns, and we are going to keep a very close eye on this to bring you more later.
Storms are causing power outages in Bozeman right now. Northwestern Energy reports a downed power pole near Churchill. 260 customers are without power. Northwestern Energy is hoping to have it restored by midnight. And it's been 1 week since the Roaring Lion fire erupted in the Bitterroot Valley. Crews stayed busy overnight with 4 new lightning-sparked fire spots. Here's where the fire stands now. It's still 25% contained, just over 8,200 acres, but fire officials expect an update on that sometime later tonight. In total, 16 homes and almost 50 structures are lost, and the cost is just topping $5 million. Our Tyler Bergen took a tour of the fire lines today. He joins us now live in Hamilton with what the damage looks like out there. Tyler.
Montana, it's been on and off rain here for the past hour or so here in Hamilton, but the weather was a lot nicer for me earlier today when I took a tour of one of the Stage 1 evacuation areas. The sights and smells were strong and powerful, but that's nothing compared to what these evacuees have gone through this week. Starting over. That's what some will be forced to do because all that's left of their homes lies in ashes. The Bitterroot Valley has seen more than its fair share of fires this summer. That's why fire officials stress the importance of a solid home structure.
Typically we start by looking at construction. Construction of a home is very important. We want to use non-receptive materials, so wooden shake roofs, wood siding, stuff like that is going to obviously catch fire, brands, or embers and allow that structure to become involved.
What materials surround a house can also be the difference in a wildfire.
Having gravel around the structure, having a gravel pad, obviously gravel's not going to burn, so that's a great stroke. And then again, this structure has a concrete foundation so that if the fire were to make it up through the surface fuels and actually contact the structure, that concrete again isn't going to burn.
This fire ripped through the Bitterroot Valley, burning through a number of homes, but others were fortunate enough to see that the flames had stopped within feet of their front door.
Well, it was quite scary, that was for sure. Okay, because when we evacuated, we could see the fire coming down the canyon, but not too far up.
And hear it. It was a huge roar.
Going like a line, this going line.
A feeling of relief for a couple who saw the real damage this fire was capable of.
That one across from us is completely down. That one just down from us, completely down. Up the road, completely down. So basically all the surrounding houses burnt to the ground.
As most are being allowed back into their homes, they hope to emerge from this disaster and continue on with their lives. Yeah, it's been 1 week since the start of this fire here in the Bitterroot Valley, and I can tell you, this is as calm as I've seen these mountains in terms of smoke and flames throughout the duration of the week. And again, like I mentioned earlier, some strong winds and rain hit me earlier, and it's been going on throughout the hour, so we'll continue to keep you updated if any weather changes out here. Reporting live in Hamilton, Tyler Bergen, NBC Montana.
Thank you, Tyler. Hundreds of residents are being let back into their homes tonight as more evacuation orders are lifted. Residents from Camas Creek to North Gold Creek, east of Hayes Creek and Blue Jay Lane can return home. It's still stage 2 for those homes north and west of those areas, but those allowed back are still under a stage 1 evacuation, and officials are asking people not to return their livestock yet. They're asking residents to fill out permits for easier access. The Bitterroot River is also reopened from Wally Crawford fishing access to Angler's Roost. Parts of the river were closed the last few days because of their proximity to the fire. Fire crews in Bozeman say they're getting control of a 1.5-acre fire on the west side of the Bridger Mountains. Crews built a line around the limestone fire and now are putting out hot spots inside. They say overnight moisture helped conditions. Lightning sparked this blaze yesterday morning. Fire crews in the Bitterroot are also working a new fire down there. The Lost Trail Fire grew to 6 acres overnight, burning heavy timber about 1.5 miles from Lost Trail Pass. Highway 93 is still open, but motorists are being asked to use caution. We're continuing to track fire conditions around the clock. Head to NBCMontana.com, where we have a special section devoted to wildland fires to keep up with changing conditions 24 hours a day. Now looking ahead, Missoula City Council is likely to approve the upcoming year's budget tomorrow night. The proposed budget includes a property tax increase of 3.91%. Part of that will be used for 2 new police officer positions. Crowds came out to Missoula's Adams Center for the 61st annual Gun and Antique Show today. People came by to purchase hunting guns, antique fishing tackle, Native American and Western items. Organizers say people come from all over the country hoping to find a special antique or firearm to add to their collection.
It's a collector's show, and so they come and they have 4 days of just fun, and more fun. If it's a collectible that people of American history are interested in, it's here.
And today is the last day of the annual Sweet Pea Festival in Bozeman. Children got busy building their own wooden sculptures with the help of some grown-ups. Dancers and musicians performed live, and there was plenty of face painting. Organizers told us they don't have an attendance number yet for the festival, but they were happy with how it went.
Oh, the festival's been going great so far. We've had a lot of great reactions, people having a great time. Some of the new things that we're doing got a great reaction yesterday, and today we have an adult painting workshop and lots of interest, and that was really great.
The Sweet Pea Festival concludes tonight with a Shakespeare in the Park performance of Richard III. Now, fencing is a sport that's been part of the Olympics since the beginning. It's one that's taught right here in Missoula as well. NBC Montana's Matt Gray takes us and tells us why the dream of becoming an Olympic fencer can start very young.
It only takes a few seconds to score in fencing, but it can take a lifetime to master the mental part of the game. The kids here at the Missoula Fencing Association's summer camp are taking their first steps.
Everyone in this room has never fenced before, and so we've had them for a week, and we've taught them how to move their feet, how to move their blade, how to think about, interacting with their opponent, how to hit, not get hit. And then today's kind of the reward where we get to cut them loose, and now they fence as if they were in a tournament.
Kids pretend to sword fight all the time. This just takes it to another level.
Well, it just looked fun to me, and I just wanted to poke people with swords. So.
There are, in fact, 3 swords used in fencing, each with its own rules and style of play. The campers are learning with what's called the épée, a long sword with a big handguard. You can strike anywhere on the body and register a point.
And when the referee says fence, they close and engage. Now you have a lot of room in front of you and a lot of room behind you. So if your opponent goes backwards, you can move forwards. If you need space, you can step backwards, right? So you should use the whole strip. Controlling the distance between yourself and your opponent is incredibly important.
Even though these matches may not be quite as crisp as what you'll see in the Olympics, they're having a lot of fun.
It was really fun and tiring, and I learned how to fence better.
But it's not just for kids. I may not be coordinated enough for it, but Englund says it's a sport for all ages.
The oldest beginner I've ever taught was 72 when he first picked up a weapon.
So maybe we can all have an Olympic dream. From Missoula, Matt Gray, NBC Montana.
Coming up, we have a look at today's action in Rio as USA competes in swimming, fencing, and more. And here's a live look over Missoula. We'll have more on your severe weather alerts coming up.
E, C, F,
Very good. And moving to 5.
P.
In an ideal world, back-to-school checkups wouldn't interrupt the last days of summer.
Very good.
In the real world,
Mom, she did a great job.
Shopko's your one-stop shop for back-to-school, including eye exams, immunizations, and more. Shopko, the stuff that counts.
Ram has won countless awards. We have best-in-class torque and 31,210 pounds towing, along with an exceptionally smooth ride. So, what does all this award-winning engineering add up to? Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups. Get a great deal during the Ram Summer Clearance Event. Financing at an average $13,119 in total values on the purchase of select Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab models in dealer stock.
Ridge Fitness loves our law enforcement, fire, military, and first responder communities. We understand the unique physical demands of these jobs. So if you work in one of these areas, you can join Ridge Fitness anytime for just $20 a month with no initiation fee. Our facility works great for non-traditional schedules because we're open 24/7. And our personal trainers are pros at developing functional fitness programs. Thanks for all you do. Call Ridge Fitness for details. 549-9181.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Ridge Fitness.
The second full day of competition at the Rio Olympics saw 14 gold medals up for grabs. The United States women's basketball team started its pursuit of one, and swimmer Katie Ledecky sent a new Olympic record in the pool. Mark Barger has a look ahead at today's action.
Team USA is looking as sharp as Spencer Alex Masialos and hoping to be as dominant as the women's basketball team, which crushed Senegal 121-56.
The largest margin of victory in U.S. Olympic history.
Here it is.
Saturday brought a single American gold and 4 silver medals. But today brought winds so gusty, they delayed rowing and tennis, challenging even Serena Williams in her win over Australia's Daria Gavrilova.
Yeah, it was incredibly windy out there. It wasn't very easy at all.
Corey Cogdell took bronze in women's trap. Now watch. And the women's rugby team tied medal favorite Australia. In swimming's 100-meter backstroke prelim, rookie Kathleen Baker set the pace. And Katie Ledecky set an Olympic record before tonight's 400-meter freestyle final.
Now she has 9 of the 10 fastest times in history.
Ledecky and the rest of Team USA looking for a golden moment. Mark Barger, NBC News, Rio.
After a long day of competitions, Olympic medals are starting to roll in. China, Italy, and the U.S. are tied with 7 medals each. Australia now has 5 medals, 3 of which are gold.
Matt Gray with your forecast.
And Matt, I understand you're tracking some thunderstorms today.
Oh boy, are we ever. Let's breathe for a second. Talk about what's going on, and there's a lot going on. We still in the Butte area need to be aware that we could see some localized flooding after that severe storm rolled through the area. And folks, it's still going, so we got a whole lot to talk about, not a lot of time to talk about it. So let's get right in it. First of all, do want to mention while we're here that green up on the map near Glacier National Park, that is a flash flood watch. And there is a lot of heavy rain around Glacier. We expect to see a lot more of it as we get later on into the afternoon and evening. So that's something we all need to keep a very close eye on in the park. Meanwhile, my focus right now is this still very severe thunderstorm that is now working its way into Broadwater County. This warning now goes until 5:45 p.m. Boulder, the threat is past for you, but most of the activity now is pushing its way towards the Townsend area and along Canyon Ferry Lake. As I said, a severe storm near Winston earlier today already dropped ping pong ball sized hail. And you know what? There may be hail that's bigger than that inside this storm, because look at what the radar has indicated, 2.4 inch size hail. To give you a perspective, that's getting up towards tennis ball range, and our hail forecast still leaving it talking about very large hail, quarter size at least. It's going to be moving into the areas specifically more to the north of Townsend, in between Winston and Townsend, and crossing into Canyon Ferry Lake as we go into the next half hour or so. So that's a very dangerous storm. If you're in Broadwater County in that area, you need to take cover right now and stay there until this thing is over. 60-mile-an-hour winds also an issue. Meanwhile, across the rest of the region, a red flag warning continuing for the Salmon area. That will go until 9 p.m. Some heavy rain could cause some localized flooding along Highway 93 as well. So everybody in Salmon, stay weather aware tonight. Heavy rain also possible moving into I-15 again here as well with that little cell that we're going to keep a close eye on too. Rain and thunder and lightning around Missoula and the Bitterroot Valley. But my other concern, as I mentioned before, is right here, right along the Continental Divide and along and around the Going to the Sun Road, with the possibility of some localized flash flooding in the area. That's why that flash flood watch is up, especially because this is going to be lasting quite a bit for quite a while, rather, into the evening. We still have thunderstorms as you look on Future Tracker through right about 10 o'clock p.m. around the area, around the Glacier National Park area, and that's a very concerning issue that we're seeing right now. So everybody needs to prepare to see some pretty nasty weather continuing in the park. Now for tomorrow, we do expect more thunderstorms, but things are looking a lot better. Just a few thunderstorms. Once again, Butte, Broadwater County into Helena looks to be in the firing line here. We're going to be on the lookout for some strong storms, but for the most part, coverage should be less. Intensity of these storms should be a lot less as well. We'll still keep it up on moderate. For Mondays, we do expect a stormy afternoon again across many areas. As for tonight, 55 in Missoula and Kalispell. We're in the 70s and 80s for tomorrow, but a gradual cool down continuing across the area. There's something positive along with the rainfall. Showery through Monday and Tuesday in the Missoula area. Look, only 75. On Tuesday, we're back up into the 90s for the weekend. In Kalispell, expect a very similar pattern here, but we're going to stay comfortable around 80 degrees up until we get to Friday when we start to feel the heat again. As for tonight in southwest Montana, 52 in Bozeman, 40s around Butte, 50s in Helena tonight, 84 in Bozeman tomorrow, 76 around Butte to kick off your work week. Your extended outlook in the Butte area looks a little bit like this. We got a few thunderstorms here or there Monday and Tuesday, things drying out as we go later on into the week. And then for Bozeman, staying a little bit warmer than the rest of the area as we remain in the 80s in the afternoons, 90 degrees by next weekend, and a whole lot drier. So very active day, but things are going to start to calm down over the next couple of days. So tomorrow afternoon should not be as bad as what we're seeing right now.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Matt. Well, a Missoula baseball team is competing on a national stage today. Vince Bagby now joining us. Vince, how are they doing?
Pretty well. Of course, for most of our local baseball teams, the season's over, but we have a couple that are advancing as far as they can go after winning state. Now they're at regionals. We're talking about the Missoula Sentinel Little League team, as well as Mount Sentinel was competing at regionals today in San Bernardino, California, and we have those highlights coming up next.
At the Source Health Club, we are dedicated to helping your family become healthier and happier. Get your family membership today and get started. We offer a wide variety of classes, various youth programs, and the best family-friendly atmosphere in Missoula.
The Source. Change begins inside. Okay, so we drowned the fire. Yep. Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
Jayco and Rankins Brothers are celebrating summer with huge savings as Western Montana's #1 Jayco dealer, offering the best quality, pricing, and reliability. Save big in a Jayco J-Flight SLX starting at only $9,995. Or celebrate in a Jayco J-Flight bunkhouse model. Sleeps 10, only $175 per month OAC. Plus, peace of mind comes standard with Jayco's 2-year warranty. The best in the business. Come celebrate summer now, where a handshake means something. Rankins Brothers RV Center.
Do you know where you want to be in life, but not sure how to get there? Since 1999, the Montana Youth Challenge Academy has been helping youth develop a plan for a successful future. If you're between the age of 16 and 18 and need help developing your plan, call the Montana Youth Challenge Academy at 1-877-367-6927 or find us on Facebook. Your future is now. This message is sponsored by the Montana Youth Challenge Academy and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
At The Source, we help build healthy futures by offering quality kids programming. From our Mountain Movers program, where kids get to see how fun exercise can be, to our World Changers program that focuses on speed, strength, and agility.
The Source, change begins inside.
This segment of the news is brought to you by your local McDonald's. And now, sports with Vince Bagby.
Good evening, Montana. After winning the state championship on a walk-off 1 week ago, today the Mount Sentinel Little League team from Missoula opened regional play in San Bernardino, California. Now, I said we'd have those highlights. We're actually having some technical difficulties right now getting you the video, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown of what happened today against Alaska in their opening round game. Mount Sentinel jumped out to an early lead in that one. Caden Sheridan was really the hero today for Montana, both on the mound and at the plate. In the third inning, when Montana was already up 5-2, Sheridan turned on a high fastball and hit it to deep left field. The ball did not come back into play. That was a solo home run for Sheridan to make it a 6-2 lead for Missoula. The very next inning, when it was 8-2, Montana had runners on second and third, and Cooper Elliott had a two-run single right back up the middle, and that scored 2 more runs to make it a 10-2 game. That would actually be your final score, as that was more than enough run support for Sheridan, who is pitching on the mound today against Alaska. He pitched all 6 innings for the complete game victory, giving up just 2 runs on 4 hits and striking out 5 batters. Mount Sentinel gets the 10-2 win, and they will face Idaho in winners bracket action tomorrow morning. Moving on to Osprey news now in the Pioneer League. The O's had last night's game postponed to rain in the first inning, so that means a doubleheader was on tap for today. The first part of that twin bill started at 4 o'clock, and so far in that game, the Osprey were down 5-0 to start things out. Game 2 of the doubleheader will get going shortly after the conclusion of that one, and we'll have the results on our news after the Olympics tonight. Meanwhile, here's a look at the Northern Division standings so far. This is what the second half of action looks like, with Billings and Great Falls tied at the top with 4-2 records right now. Missoula just a half game back with a 3-2 mark to start the latter half of the season. That, of course, they've played 1 less game than everybody else you see there after last night's rainout. Nobody actually has a losing record in the North right now. Even last place Helena is right at 500 with 3 wins and 3 losses. The Class A Legion Northwest Regional Tournament is continuing action in Laurel this weekend. The Bitterroot Red Sox out of Hamilton are hoping to defend their regionals title, and so far, so good for the Sox. Bitterroot is 2-0 so far at the tournament, and tonight they'll battle against the host team, Laurel Dodgers, who are also perfect through their first 2 games of the regional tournament. Tonight's contest is scheduled for first pitch at 6 o'clock between the Red Sox and the Dodgers. The last time these teams met wasn't that long ago. It was at the state tournament last week. Laurel actually won that game 5-4 over Bitterroot, so the Red Sox will be looking for revenge in that one, and we'll let you know how the rematch turns out for Bitterroot tonight on our late newscast after the primetime Olympics coverage. That does it for your sports this evening. We'll be right back.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Fred's Appliance.
I'm Amber, and I'm a former Dan Fox foster child. My mother was an unfit parent, I guess you could say. She just had some issues that prevented her from being able to be there. I moved in with my foster parents my freshman year in high school. I am incredibly grateful to my foster parents for taking me in. If somebody were to come to me and tell me that they were thinking about fostering a child, I would say, do it.
Prescription drug abuse isn't easy. It isn't easy to watch those you love change, to watch families being torn apart, to watch them lose everything. There's nothing easy about prescription drug abuse, except how abusers get their drugs. Keeping your prescriptions safe can save lives. Safely store your medications, always dispose of unused pills, and never share your prescription drugs. Sign the pledge to end prescription drug abuse in Montana and find resources like conversation starters and safe disposal locations at resolvemontana.org. This message sponsored by the Montana Attorney General's Office.
Talk to me,
There's a man trying to change history, and we have to stop him. We're
the hell did that come from?
My name is Buck Rogers, and this thing came from outer space.
Timeless premieres Monday, October 3rd after The Voice on NBC.
And hundreds of thousands of people are zooming into South Dakota today for the 76th annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Bikers rode into the Black Hills for the kickoff party and opening celebration. Hundreds of vendors lined the main streets to order food, drinks, apparel, and demo the latest bike models. Riders also cruised along the back mountain roads to take in the sights. The rally runs through August 14th. And here's a cheerful story for you. It was an exciting weekend for 3 lions at the Buffalo Zoo. The African lion trio made their public debut and were given names Rory, Asha, and Amira, meaning princess. The 3 cubs were born to first-time mother Lusaka in May and have stuck close by her since then. The cubs' father joined the family in the Big Cat exhibit yesterday for their debut.
They're cute little guys, aren't they?
Yeah, very. And let's go to Matt one more time with the weather.
One more time. Still tracking that severe thunderstorm that's approaching the Townsend area. And let's take a look at that there again, and probably seeing some pretty gusty winds that are about to move into Townsend as that storm is really starting to fire up here. There's going to be some hail that works into the area too. It's starting to build to the south, and so Townsend, I think you're pretty much in the firing line here now. Maximum hail size is going to be right around 1 inch, so that's about quarter size, maybe even a little bigger than quarters. That will be moving into the Townsend area and other areas south of Winston on Highway 12. So if you're around the Townsend area, you need to get into cover right now. This one is really nasty. High winds, as you can see in that bright green there on our velocity from the radar. Moving into Townsend right now, there's also going to be some strong winds. You see that in the bright red further to the south on the backside of this storm as it moves through the area. So expect the possibility of some damaging winds as well in the area from this storm, and we're going to keep a close eye on it as we go through the next several minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. And here is a live look of the Olympic flame in Rio that was lit Friday night to start off the first Olympic Games in South America. That does it for us. We'll have more local news tonight at 10 and severe weather. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.